is the form of backsword. That is a horseman's sword with a basket-hilt grip. The blades of these weapons, which are traditionally between 2'6" and 3 feet in length, were often imported from either Italy or from Germany, bearing the armourer's name Andrea Ferrara, or sometimes the Running Wolf of Solingen in Germany. The hilts were manufactured locally, often of quite crude manufacture, as this one is a simple basket hilt, and this type of weapon was traditionally carried by border reivers. It is called a backsword because it's actually sharp along the front edge only, the back edge is blunted, and the weapon is intended for a downward slash from the horse. The two swords were quite light. I'm also wearing, by way of body protection, that which is called a breast and back. That is plate armour which covers the chest and the back. It has two sections, a back plate and the front plate. They are joined by clasps at the shoulder and which adjust to suit the height of the wearer, and also around the waist by a belt which secures the breast and back across the lower portion. This would be worn by a horseman when out reiving, and was often also worn with a form of protective headgear. The shirt which I'm wearing, this one is actually made of cotton, but many shirts are also made of linen. They tended to be cut fairly wide, again to allow for movement. This one has some lace at the cuffs, which would indicate slightly higher status from the wearer. I'm wearing stout woolen breeches. The reivers always made their clothes from natural materials, and the wool was particularly warm and hard wearing. The breeches are cut fairly loose to provide for movement when coming in and out of the saddle, and also when fighting. The doublet which I'm wearing is also made of wool, a stout woolen worsted. It has what are called slashed sleeves, which are quite fashionable during the course of the 16th century, made fashionable by the Landsnech mercenaries in the imperial service in the early part of that century. It is dark blue worsted, and again is cut fairly free to facilitate easy movement. I'm wearing a pair of 16th century horseman's boots, which are made of very stout leather and were a means of replacing plate armour as a form of leg protection. The boot pulls up to the top of the thigh to provide a protection against sword cuts and slashes from bills and other edged weapons. The reivers by and large rode out on their forays, so protection for the legs was particularly important, and obviously the boots also protected the rider from chafing from the saddle and the horse's flank. The reiver's clothing generally was made of strong, hard-wearing natural fabrics, such as wool. These breeches are made of wool. They're cut fairly loose-fitting to provide movement. And the doublet, which is also made in wool, is warm, close-fitting. It has what's called a slashed sleeve, which became popular during the course of the 16th century, and the shirt which I'm wearing underneath would traditionally be made of linen. The border reiver didn't have pockets in his outfit, so he tended to rely on what was called a purse or a shot pouch, which was generally carried suspended from a belt around the waist, and in this he might carry a few coins if he had them. He might also carry shot, powder and shot for his firearm if he had a firearm with him.